I wanted to talk about one of the most important topics in this game, and it's going to be about weapons for SJW. I know that a lot of content creators, they're pushing the plum sword for everyone, especially for beginners, but I actually have quite some questions about it. This is Rudy Collects Video Games channel. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and let's begin with discussion. Also, before we're going to start, just a quick reminder about Netmarble Content Creator Program. Thanks to this program, I am able to send you some codes with 3 rewards. So if you're enjoying my content, the link is going to be in a pinned comment. Just you need to log in, hit that support button, and I will be able to send you these codes. Now let's get back to the main topic of this video. So speaking of weapons, just saying it, a couple months ago I wouldn't tell anything about the plum sword. It's a perfect support weapon, it fits pretty much to every DPS weapon and also some skills. I don't have any questions about it. But right now I have such a feeling that the meta is shifting, and now I can't really say that this is going to be a perfect fit for every weapon. Of course, here we should to say about the resources that we're going to spend on weapons. And of course that's pretty much obvious that if you're able to build yourself one support weapon which you're going to use with any other DPS weapon, that's fine, you're going to save quite a lot of resources. But we are talking also about the late game content. And the most important part there, that we have like different elements, and this might play quite a huge role, I should say. And overall the requirements, they're kinda high, so I have quite some doubts if we're able, for example, to finish demos with the plum sword and, I don't know, divine quarterstaff, or with the phoenix bow, how it's going to work. And also, if you're an endgame player, just let me know, I'm kinda curious. Be real, how often do you use this one weapon? Answer, yes, is pretty much obvious. It's going to be POD with the dark day, when we have some activities with the dark day, because again the perfect fit is going to be the plum sword and the moonshadow daggers with magnifying slashes, the dark version. And again, the main damage is going to come from skill. When we're talking about other weapons, I actually did quite a lot of tests, so after that I believe we'll be able to say what's going to be the best combination of weapons, and this is an interesting one. Let's begin. So here we're going to start with the dark setup, and you see I got myself 5 stacks from the plum sword. I'm using moonshadow daggers, and we're going to deal damage with the magnifying slashes. 58% is left. Now we're going to do the same thing, just with less amount of stacks. It's going to be 3. Let's see the difference. It's 63%. Now we are going to do shadow daggers without any additional stacks from the plum sword. 64. Here I decided to remove the plum sword at all, just to see the damage output from moonshadow daggers and the sonic stream. 76. Now we're going to the divine quarterstaff with the plum sword again. 78. So there are no crits. Right now we will have a run, and you will see, I believe it's going to be with the crit, just to compare like the difference between the plum sword and the other one support weapon for divine quarterstaff. Doing shadow step and divine quarterstaff without applying the plum effect. 65% left. Now we're doing also the same. It's without the crit, 78%. Let's go to do it once again. With the plum sword. This is without the crit, 76%. So almost no difference. Now we will try with the golden foxtail. Let's see how it's going to perform. Now doing divine quarterstaff skill. 59, okay, that was with the crit. Now we will try to get our result without the crit. Here we go, 74% without the crit. And yeah, this scorpion, he doesn't have any weaknesses for elements, so it's a pure damage from weapons. Of course, with elements it might vary a little bit, but overall it's nice to test when we have everything set in pretty much equal conditions. Trying once again. 59, but again with the grid. Now let's see with DKD the results with the plum sort. 3 stacks. I'm using it properly. 82% left. Now with the Stormbringer. Here the difference is going to be pretty much obvious because Stormbringer is dealing quite a huge damage, and we got 56% left, which is so far the best result out of all combinations. With DKL, 59% left. And just a quick reminder, because I have DKL at level 100 when my DKD at level 120, so it's quite a huge difference. With the plum sort, you saw the result, 79% left. Here I'm using with 5 stacks from the plum sort, 84%. Now with the fire setup, so we're going to use it without activation of the skill from the fan, and we got 86% left. Right now we're going to activate the skill from the fan. Let's see the difference. And we have 79% left. Now let's see performance with the plum sword. So here we have 3 stacks, and I'm going to use dash before the last hit, 83%. Now I'm going to use dashes after each skill, let's say first skill, the core attack, the other core attack, 82% left. So I use plum on maximum, let's say during this try. Now we're going to try without the plum, without activation of the skill. 90% left. So what I wanted to say after doing all these tests, I should say that the best combination in terms of damage output, I guess, is going to be the wind one right now. Of course, it depends on the element which bosses and final, let's say, stages have. Of course, if you have a weakness for the wind element, I guess it's going to be the best one pick in terms of damage output. So Stormbringer is a decent weapon, there is no questions about it. And actually between DKD and DKL, the difference isn't that huge. I have a feeling that Demon King's longsword is more constant, quite honestly. And again, I'm reminding you that it's level 100 when my DKD at level 120, so it's a huge difference in terms of attack. Well, not huge, but still fairly decent. So overall, I should say they're performing more or less equally. But the mechanics of this one sword, they're different, and I'm going to speak about it in another video. The second best option, of course, we're going to talk about the dark element, steel, moonshadow daggers and plum sword with magnifying slashes, the legendary version. I should remind you about this. For now, yes, we have a selector for this rune, but what if you don't have it? It requires to use 2 weapons and the skill, when in terms of other sets and weapon combinations, they're doing pretty much well on their own without any skills. So it's kind of questionable about the dark setup right now. I should say it's working good, don't get me wrong, but overall, you understand what I mean. On the third place, or maybe again questionable, on the second place is going to be the light setup. Actually, the main question is going to be about the gold-tailed fox, outcalls. Yeah. The whole thing that this is an event weapon, so not everyone have access to it, not everyone received this weapon. Just when we're going to talk alone about the Divine Quarter stuff, it's working pretty much well on its own. And yeah, that's, I guess, the main case, according to the gold-tailed fox, why I'm bringing it on the second or even third place. And the last one place I'm going to give to the fire setup. Yeah, it's working well, but again, it requires a lot of investments, and here we should keep in mind that we're talking not only about advancements, we're talking also about levels, and we're talking also about using skills properly. So, for example, you should use a full fire setup with breaking skills being fire, with Sonic Stream being fire, also because this is an important part of the fire setup to boost your damage output from the Phoenix Bow, and it's kinda an expensive one. And the last one place is going to be right now for the water setup, because we don't really have anything for the water. We don't have content, we don't have really some weapons which are going to be damage dealing weapons for the water setup. But this might change in the upcoming content, so we'll see. And again, guys, I'm kinda curious to see your thoughts about the plum sword. What do you think? Once again, for example, for me, I'm not using this weapon just almost at all. And actually, for Battlefield of Time, when we're going to talk about specifically this activity, they're kinda closing this window with, you know, using whatever element. Now it's not working. For example, when it was the time for Aberg, we had the dark element as a strong one for the boss. What does it mean? That our damage output in general is going to be lower and is going to be penalized for a certain amount of time. So it's not an option to use this weapon there. It really depends on elements. Again, hope you enjoyed this video and going to find this interesting. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comment section. See you guys in the next one. Take care.